Hey y'all, today's message is my city, my responsibility. So what does responsibility mean to you? I looked up the definition earlier today, and the definition is the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or of having control over someone. So some of those responsibilities can be washing the dishes when you're told, doing your chores, pausing the game to help out with groceries. That's one I did not like growing up. I didn't want to pause the game. I wanted to play the game. But it was like, it got to me eventually. I learned my lesson. Being a parent. Helping out with your younger sibling. When your mom or dad needs to go somewhere, you need a babysit. Helping out or picking them up. I do that a lot of times. Taking my brother to different sports venues, even when I don't want to. Sometimes I just offer it up for myself. I was like, man, I don't want to do this, but I know I have to. Now, responsibility in your house is one thing, right? But then when it involves other people, it's hard to do because you don't know, you might not know these people, right? And now you have to open up to them. So now wherever you live, everything that goes on in that city is your responsibility. So, for example, for myself, I once tried to shy away, but God kept on knocking. What I mean by that is I tried to kind of cancel out the noise, and I was like, I saw the problems in different places, and it's like, oh man, I want to help, I want to do this and this. I always say I want to do this, but I was never acting on it. It was cool to say, but it was not cool to do. You know what I'm saying? Responsibility like that, I was like, I can't do that. I'm little Michael. I can't do that. But that's an example of never underestimate God. If He says you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. You can, how I did, going to school, not going there for what God wanted me to go there for. And I was going into journalism and all this other stuff. I learned a lot and I grew a lot and I was thankful for it. But ultimately, He steered me back to where He wanted me to be working with the youth. So, what I was saying, I saw a problem with the youth, things shutting down and so forth. But I didn't really want to take on that responsibility. I didn't want to be Batman. I didn't want to be Black Panther. I didn't want to do that. So it got to a point that I couldn't be blind to the cries for help, cries for better. And the city is on me. So I have 2 points. That's to leave you with. It's not a long message. It doesn't have to be. So the first one, it might as well be me. So I've been saying this a lot. It's man, if anybody does this, it might as well be me. One time I applied to this place in Chicago, right? And a lot of people saying oh, don't do this, don't go here, this neighborhood is this and this. And I was it caused a fear in me. But after that, it was a battle of faith, because I was man, after a while I was I gotta do this. It might as well be me. Even if I don't get the job, it might as well be me. I have to take that stance. Or where I'm working now, well, like the different duties I'm doing, like wearing multiple hats, it might as well be me. If it's not me, then who? Like, who are you gonna send, God? Like, who? And a lot of the great prophets were met with that. Like Isaiah, it's like, send me, Lord, send me. I'm ready to be sent. Like Elisha, when he with Elijah, like he sold everything, like everything that he had, he gave it away. He was like, man, I'm going after God all the way. And for Nehemiah, for a definition of, like, like a real definition of responsibility, putting the city on your back, he did that. And like for him, he was in a foreign place, and like he was in a position of a cupbearer. Like like just for talking to the king, he could die. Even for the cup, poison in it, he can die. And he saw a need for his people, and he was like, man, like God wants me to go back to build this. And then he talked to the king, and the king was understanding of what he was like, oh yeah, take your time. It was other people trying to plot against him, but God softened his heart. Like when you allow yourself to be in a position for God to use you, everything that you thought was a threat to your safety, your position, your fame, like God, like he makes it not an easy road, but he makes it a walkable road. You're gonna get persecuted. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, the Bible is clearly states that you're gonna get persecuted, but for God's sake, in the name of God, like Jesus was persecuted, right? And then in Revelation, it talked about that the 144,000, and at first Revelation used to be complicated to me, but like after reading like the Bible app, like it breaking it down, like it showed me how that 144,000 was more so everybody who walked that walk with God, with Jesus. And Jesus was persecuted, and then they were persecuted, but then there was racing again with the risen king. And then my last point is, why run from those that call you their own? Many times we create these walls with our issues, and we end up blocking out those that are in our corner. Like, you can leave your city, but the cries will still be with you. Like, you can be in Los Angeles and still be concerned with what's going on in your hometown of ATL, New York, wherever it is. So you'll be left with, I wish I could do this. What is wrong with them? Like, why can't they change? Like, why can't they bring these educational things and these ministries to help out the youth? The youth are doing this, the youth are doing that. Like, the parents are not parenting, but the whole time the problem is you. You're the one who left. The hero who spoke highly of everything is like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do, right? Like LeBron or James Harden, like, oh, I'm gonna bring all this to the city, I'm gonna do all this. But then they left, especially James Harden. If you didn't hear about the trade, like, he was like, man, I'm gonna bring this to Houston. He was worse than LeBron. I'm gonna bring this to Houston, right? And then he was like, man, I want to get traded. So like James Harden, you're the one who left. You left. So yeah, that's the message for today. Your city is your responsibility. If you thinking about leaving, like, wherever you go, know that your city's gonna be on your mind. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like, you're gonna be remembering the memories that you had there. So wherever you go, responsibility is high, but guys, God is higher. All right, stay blessed.